Welcome, everyone. We are here at the We Are One Summit, and I am sitting here with Zen Oasis, who is a certified Reiki healer, a life coach, a sound healer, and hypnotist. And she orchestrates international healing retreats and creates immersive experiences that blend fitness, self discovery, and personal growth. Her inspiration lies with her 13-year-old daughter. I almost said 16-year-old daughter. Oh my gosh.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
And she's been the driving force behind her entire journey. Encouraged by a cherished mentor, she embarked on a path of self-healing driven by the desire to be the mother that she deserved and heal from her own childhood trauma and wounds. Zen guides individuals towards self-realization, inner tranquility, and taking charge of their own realities. Her goal is to help people recognize their true selves and become liberated from all things that stand in their way. So, welcome, Zen Oasis.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. That sounds so amazing coming out of someone else's mouth.
You're like, wow, my own journey is like pretty profound.
Right? I'm like, oh, okay, girl. Hey.
I am here to mirror you today.
Beautiful.
So tell us a little bit about the plant spirit retreats. That really caught my attention when I was learning about your work.
Mhm.
All of the, healing the intergenerational trauma. I definitely want to keep chatting about. But tell me about how you kind of got into starting some of these retreats that you offer.
So the very first retreats I offered are actually pole dance retreats that married mindfulness into it. So I'd bring on other instructors and myself, and we just have a pole camp, but we would have guided meditations in the morning, or we would have, I'll say, gentle ceremonies, nothing like what I'm doing now, but just gentle ceremonies where we might pull an oracle card and someone might share and we'd have a sound bath and things of that nature. So I started there, and as those progressed, my guidance system was like, there's more work to be done. It was like, girl, this is cute. This is real cute what you're doing right here. But there's more work to be done. So as I did the retreats, I ended up connecting with a spiritual sister who I did not know that I had been working with for lifetimes, but I saw her on Instagram. Didn't know her in this life, but I was like, I know her. And Spirit was like, reach out to her right now and tell her you need a healer. I'm like, but I don't actually need a healer. They was like, no, 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 no. Just reach out to her. So we connected, and then through that, we both at the same time had the download that we were to connect and start to work with psilocybin.
Cool.
We started to hold space for one another first. I had already sat with ayahuasca for a couple of years prior to that, so I wasn't unfamiliar to plant medicine by any means. But we started to connect with psilocybin, and then we started to hold space for one another. Then we started to just have small ceremonies, and through then, it just trickled into the necessity of bringing the medicine onto our retreat experiences because we started to see the miraculous healing. Honestly, I just had no idea that the mushroom was capable of doing what the mushroom can do. People I'll say people who are not aware of its potency and its true connection as earth medicine always say, I'm going on a trip. I'm going on a trip. So, it's been abused and used in different ways recreationally. But when we brought it into the retreats, we saw the way that people were able to receive years worth of healing in 5 days, just out of their mouths, the things that they were able to receive and to move through. The level of the portals open. You mentioned that I'm a hypnotist. People were going into past lives without, I was like, I didn't even put you there. But the medicine brought them there. So just seeing the things that happened just through the medicine ceremonies, but then also noticing how the medicine was just a tool on the retreats. It was really utilizing the medicine plus the community, the sisterhood, and having those other days of integration and connection, and the way that even without the medicine, on the retreats, everyone who is supposed to come is chosen prior to us even having the date out there. So everyone's work was intertwined, and the medicine was just that thing that allowed people to see and to recognize how connected we all are before we even got into the same space together.
That's beautiful. And, it kind of, one of the things that I'm reflecting on as you're talking about this, sometimes when we're pausing, as we're creating pauses in our life to say, okay, the momentum of this pattern that has been running my life, like I need a pause. And it's nice to be able to like, it doesn't even have to be like going somewhere. I mean, I know you go to Bali, but sometimes it doesn't have to be a huge trip like that. It can just be like, I just need to take the space to like be present with myself and like, expand my like the options of how I'm choosing. And
Hmm.
I don't know, something about that is really kind of resonating right now.
Yeah. And I love it that you said that, because even when I was doing the pole retreat before we brought the medicine into it, that was the intention for people to just to step away from their lives, to just take a moment and breathe. It's so difficult. And like you said, you don't even have to go anywhere. It can be just going outside and sitting in grass for a minute and to just stop doing whatever you're doing, to take a moment and pause so that you can hear, reconnect, and take that moment to hold space for self. So yes, all of it, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you've kind of started healing through your own intergenerational trauma? Because, you know, one of the big things about this summit is that we are one concept, right? And it's like inner peace to create outer change. And a lot of people get very scared when they start checking in with themselves because then they're confronted with really big emotions, some heavy stuff. And so we're like, oh, inner peace, yes. But really, like to get to the inner peace, we kind of have to go into that fire and feel what's
Hmm.
there. And sometimes it's generation upon generation of baggage that we have. I say luggage rather than baggage because it has a little slightly different
I love that. I
connotation.
love that.
But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how your own healing through the intergenerational trauma how you've done that and how it's kind of impacted you over the years, like what the results have been for you?
Absolutely. So I'll start with the results. The results honestly have been mind blowing. I didn't even know, if someone would have told me that my life would take this path, I would have been like, you shouldn't me. There's no way. There's no way. The results have been absolutely mind blowing, eye opening. I would have never even known how truly, like when you speak about the interconnectivity of all things, we are our ancestors and our ancestors are us. I am my mother. Something that the medicine, the downloads, everything just continued to tell me as I was healing through my maternal lineage things, was that the way that you view your mother is the way that you see yourself. You cannot love yourself until you love your mother. And so I'll speak to a segment of my intergenerational healing because there have been so much, but just in what might be most close to home for a lot of people is the mother wound slash the grandmother wound slash the great grandmother wounds. And it wasn't until I had to get a bit of my own stuff out of the way. Just what I noticed is a lot of people and myself at that time was just in a child, I call it a spiritual child state of mind. Children are very egocentric. And so throughout our journeys, when we haven't quite tapped deeply into the intergenerational healing, everything is about us. Everything happened to us. Um, I had to get that stuff out of the way, and really just facing myself in that, looking at different narratives and things of that nature. And I finally came down to my mother. Everything kept coming back to my mother. And there was a moment when I was called to go back into the womb space. And this was just me sitting in my living room. And the question came, who was your mother when you were born? And I was like, who was my mother? So the egocentric child first started to play out all of these scenarios of not feeling wanted, being the middle child, knowing that my mother had questions about keeping me, replay my mother and father's relationship. I went there first, but then it was like, no, 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 no. Come into compassion for your mother. Who was your mother when you were born? And a voice said, crawl up into a ball. So I got into the fetal position, and I was able to be in her womb and feel her fear, and feel just the thing. My mother lost her mother when she was 15 years old. So feeling through the fear of being a mother who didn't have a mother, who didn't know how to mother, and through, I'll say, compassion for her, which then allowed me to hold compassionate space for the ancestors, the people who are no longer present in bodies, and their energies that I was still carrying that was coming up, that allowed more ease in the intergenerational healing. For a long time, I was in a place of fighting it, because I was still like, I didn't deserve this. I didn't do it. I'm not the one who caused the pattern. It's like, why? Just lack of acceptance. But prayerfully, to answer your question, I just be talking in circles. Prayerfully, it answers your question, in that my journey was one, first of just honestly deep resistance. I faced a lot of physical illnesses that were inexplicable. And I did everything from going plant-based, fasted for 44 days just on just fruit, just juice, doing all of these different things and wondering why it was actually getting worse. I'm like, what is going on? The people are saying that this is how you heal, this is how you heal. But it wasn't until I just took a pause and got still enough to listen to all of the narratives that were playing in my dreams, and me hearing these voices that didn't feel like they belonged to me in real life, to sit and realize, oh, these are your ancestors speaking. And this is just a lot of pain that needs space held for it. When I started to come to a space of acceptance and compassion, first for my mother, and then just for all of the other voices, then I was able to just more easefully flow into an easeful release of the intergenerational patterns. Honestly, I'll say they started to fall away after I learned compassion for it.
Mm, I love that. I'm thinking to my own relationship with my mother, which has, been very strained for a long time. And I'm like, ooh, compassion for my mom. Like, that's a
Mhm.
new concept. I mean, it's something, it's like I work a lot on like forgiveness and acceptance, but it's just like, oh yeah, like every time we kind of step into that, it's like there's deeper and deeper layers to keep working on. Ooh, I'm gonna have some fun things to work on.
Mhm. Can I speak to one thing that's coming to me before you go to the next question with
Of
that, for anyone
course.
that might be listening? For people who have like estranged relationships with their mother, and maybe it's not the mother, maybe it's the father. Because now I've done my maternal, now I'm allowing the paternal piece to happen more easily. But I hear someone saying, well, my mother or my father is like this, that in regards to triggering them, or the way that they just the way that they are. But I found that the more that I have changed, have compassion for her without invalidating my own experiences, my parents just change. It's like something just happened and they just changed. So that's what I want to give, to just to do the work for self, and have faith and be encouraged that the energy that you're shifting also is working for them as well.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what this summit is all about. It's like, if we really want to change our relationships, like we start like here and we start here
Mhm.
and lower.
Yes, yes.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what is currently lighting you up? Like what are you working on? Like what's just really like ringing the bells, turning the lights on? What's lighting you up right now?
Things are getting so interesting and juicy in my world right now. There are such interesting shifts happening. We do have a couple of retreats on the books, but the re- at this point, the retreats are the retreats. It's like, okay, we've done it. It's almost like I've gotten so accustomed to doing the work. It's like, okay, come and get the medicine and go on home. Come and get the medicine and go on home.
Yeah.
But for me, I am getting the opportunity now to just go deeper into my own learning. I'm getting the opportunity to travel a bit more around the world and work with some different indigenous healers and indigenous leaders to learn their ways of the medicine and learn these ways that most people, I'll say, would not have access to, or that we don't even know exist. So that's what's lighting me up right now, just the opportunity to be a student. I am a forever student.
Very cool. Very cool. And it shows. It really does show.
Mhm.
So Zen, would you be open to giving us a little taste of your magic, doing some kind of demo, bringing people through, I don't know, a little something that you'd be willing to share?
Absolutely. So, hmm, I suppose that would be me channeling for you a bit or reading for you a bit. Are you okay with that?
I am 100% okay with that.
Okay. Hmm. So, what comes through immediately is there's an energy blockage at your tailbone.
Mm.
I don't know my right from my left. It's they're showing me that it's affecting the way that you're walking on one of your feet.
Okay.
And they're showing me which leg, but I don't know my right from my left, so I can't
Yeah.
tell. I can't tell which leg it is.
Okay.
Something's wanting to come through about your mother. Mm. They say that something happened in her experience that shattered her heart to pieces. Is a verbatim.
Mm.
Shattered her heart to pieces. And for you to be very patient with her.
Yeah.
That those pieces are not yours to pick up, but through your happiness, you're showing her the way.
Mm.
Mm. That her salvation is through your happiness. You're showing her something she has never seen before. Something else, hold on. In regards to the women in your lineage. They show me this image. I I'll tell you the image, I'll tell you how I interpret it, but it's your interpretation. And the interpretation's for you. They show me this image of women with these giant sledgehammers just like hammering away.
Mm.
I take that as a lineage of women who've had to carry a very heavy load
Mhm.
without necessarily having, I want to say, a level of support, but it's like this with that because they're not clear on what that support means.
Yeah.
Because I received that there are men around, but there's a certain level of support that's not present or that hasn't been present.
Yeah. I would say that's accurate.
And then here you come. They show you as like I wish I had better language for some of the things. They show you, I'm gonna say pixie fairy, but you've got like this sheer gown that's flowing, and in the midst of all of these women breaking up rubble, here you come, free as a bird, moving and dancing,
Mhm.
and it looks like a construction site.
Yeah.
So what they are saying is new ground is being laid in this generation with you at the helm. And your job for the women in your lineage is to keep dancing.
Yeah.
And then those energies will transmute themselves for you to remain joyful, for you to just follow suit, and those energies will transmute themselves. And then, last thing, it's like your dance is an invitation. I see the ancestors that are toiling away, like that have this energy and this mindset of just toiling away, doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
That energy is still present, but you are, you operate as an invitation. And it's like they just need to look up and see you. I'm sitting here waiting for them to look at you. Like, look, but it'll take time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I got.
Oh, thank you so much. That feels so spot on. It does feel like, of all the people in my family, like everyone's been, they grind and they work hard. And I'm the person who like, you don't have to work hard, like work with joy, work with ease, like
Mhm.
play, and I feel like I've always just gotten things done in my own way.
Mhm.
And it's funny because it's been very hard to relate to a lot of my family members because they just
Mhm.
don't see me for who I am. It took me a long time to like figure out how to like show these parts of myself. But
Mhm.
a lot of the family members don't always like recognize, like, like you said, fairy. I'm like, I'm a woods fairy, like 100%. But it's very interesting. But yeah, your reading is spot on.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's giving me a lot of perspective on how to connect with that lineage and that just that patience. So
Beautiful. Yes,
yeah,
keep dancing. They were just like, keep going. They will see you
yes,
eventually. They'll
yeah,
see you eventually.
I love that. In your channeling work, do you do this when you're in ceremony? Do you do this when you're working with hypnosis? Like, do you allow messages to kind of like bubble up more spontaneously? Like, how does this kind of fit into your practices?
Um, so what came through right now is typical of if I'm doing coaching work
Mm,
with people, and then we work off of different images. A lot of it is noticing energetic blockages, and if we were to have gone deeper, then they'll start to channel the cause of the blockage, what to do about it. We'll move it through and things of that nature.
yeah,
Inside of ceremony, especially since we're connecting with the medicine, it's much deeper. It's it's as if my body takes form of whatever they're doing,
yeah,
and whatever they're being, and then able to guide more deeply. It's hard to say because it's so many things that happen.
yeah.
So many things that happen, but then in regards to the hypnosis, it's typically I started with past life regression, But now the way that it comes through is it's often looking for the right English words. It's often a person traveling not necessarily to a past life, but another realm, and then going to reconcile something that needs to happen there and to affect this one. So closing doors or cutting cords, or there have been times where a woman has women in their lineage have consistently had miscarriages, or something happened with premature deaths with babies, and somebody wound up in a cemetery, and then I just knew what to tell them to do to bury the babies and come back. And so it's just different. It's different. It's different for
Yeah.
every person. Mhm.
Flows. Yeah, that's really cool. That interconnectedness is real.
Yes. It
Yeah,
is all of the realms are right here and right now, and it is all happening. And even with no medicine, we truly have access to all of the things.
I love that. And the last kind of thing that I wanted to touch on with you today is um, what is what is this like aspect of like reciprocity? So like we work with our ancestors, we like feel a lot better ourselves. We know that it can like make these changes in our relationships. Um, like how does that benefit the whole ancestral line? How does that benefit the planet? Like yeah, I guess kind of fill us in a little bit on that.
I'll speak first to the benefit to the ancestral line. Something that people so first, many people have many of us are transitioning through like worthiness issues.
Yeah, big time.
So when it comes to our relationship with our ancestors and reciprocity, people don't understand how big the smallest act of healing is in the smallest act of healing in this realm, how it resounds so loudly in the ancestral realm. And so when we speak about reciprocity, same with ancestral, same with the earth, with coming forth with an offering. That offering can be whatever you desire that offering to be. It's just some show of coming forth. But what people get caught up in is, am I doing enough to receive? Am I doing enough to receive? Our work here in this realm is doing so much for our ancestors, so they desire to do that for us. So when it comes to reciprocity from that angle, um, what I felt called to share is for people to recognize, when you do a little, you do so much. And so then it's okay to ask because you deserve. Now, as it pertains to the earth herself, um, I like to, although we personify earth as a woman, I like to think about relationship with earth and our relationship with masculine and feminine, in the way that the masculine just desires the feminine's presence. The masculine just wants to feel seen and acknowledged. And so, as it pertains to the earth, as we get so much from her, she gives us so many things. If someone doesn't know what to do in regards to that reciprocal relationship, again, she wants to be seen and acknowledged. So, it can just be so simple as walking outside and saying thank you, of looking at the trees and saying, I see you. Thank you for your protection.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, all of these elaborate rituals, but something that I do just as a share for anyone who would want something. I make a lot of loose herb teas. And so whenever I finish my tea, I give the herbs back to the earth. Like, Mother, thank you so much.
Mm,
Here you go.
that's
So
beautiful.
with the reciprocity, it's so simple as just saying thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And then you've got a free gift for our viewers today. Can you tell us a little bit about your offer for people who are interested?
Absolutely. So, my gift to you all is a breathwork class where I'm walking through five different techniques that one activate the energy centers. Two, there's one very, very powerful um, breathing method in there that helps to clear karmic impressions out of the spine.
Cool.
Breath for release, for connection, for grounding. And then there's also a technique in there that helps to cleanse negative impressions out of either the womb space, if you're a womb holder, or out of the testicles, out of the testicular. If you are, if you're a non-womb holder, well, womb holder, and these are techniques that anybody can do. So I'm just grateful to have something to offer and to be able to assist with whoever feels called to connect with the offering.
Beautiful. And the link will be in the bio so people can go, down below and check out how to find you and your social media and your website and all your amazing offerings, as well as your free gift. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you would like to throw out there before we wrap up for today?
Hmm. Interesting. It literally just flew into my head. What flew, what flew in, right, to say for whoever is listening is that confusion comes before clarity. And whatever that might mean for you, confusion comes before clarity. So if ever there is confusion, clarity is always on the way.
I love that. It feels so important, I think, to hear that because a lot of people get stuck in that muddy space. So it's nice
Hmm.
to know that, with the springtime energies that are coming, at least in the East Coast, New England area, that mud will dry.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Zen. And your work just sounds beautiful. And thank you so much for the reading today and all the magic that you're bringing to the people and the lives that you're touching. I just really admire the work that you're doing.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. So have a great day, everyone, and be well.